access zip forms by going to www.car.org. That's www.car.org.
It's not here.
Oh, here, I'll flip that off.
No, I think it's just here. No? No, I'm okay, I'm good.
Can you flip that light, Sharon? Off.
Oh.
There you go. All right. So you then go to this hyperlink here. Oh, I'm gonna need a better mouse pad than that. Here, you're gonna click Access Now. And then you'll pop up with your username and password. You guys following me that are doing it? Everyone on the same page? Okay. You won't get what you need to out of this if you're not following along, so if at any time you fall behind, please let me know. I'll catch you up to where we're at, okay? No dumb questions here, and we're here for everyone to learn. All right, so you're gonna click Sign In. And you're gonna wait for this stupid gray box to turn yellow. And you're gonna click it once it does for Continue.
I signed in, but I didn't get into your page. I got into this.
Ah. Did you need help?
They say it's the wrong password, but I just did it yesterday, it was working. I'm going to try again.
Okay. So today I'm going to show you just some basic functionalities and tools that are going to help you. I'm going to show you how to use the search bar. I'm going to make some suggestions how you can sort of self-educate yourself when you're in a deal. And I'm going to show you how to set up a template and why it would save you time. Okay? Ronnie, when you are with us, let me know.
I don't know why it's not working, if that's the same. I confirm to invade now. That's the now, right? N-A-R?
No,
Ah, that's the
C-A-R.
R.
But it's the same password, right?
Yeah, I don't know why. I must have been typo yesterday or something. Because they give me a new.
Click this button. And then plus. Here. Here. Right. Good. Sign in. Good.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. Click here.
That's the page that I got for it.
This is perfect.
And this is the second.
Because you have a different view, and I'll show you that in a second, and you have one example there,
Oh, okay.
whereas I have lots and lots of Welcome. Okay, so if your screen looks a little different than mine, that's okay. At the far right-hand corner here, you see these dots? I have mine in list view. Now I just put it into a view where it's stacked horizontally with little icons, right? I prefer this view for myself. Why do I prefer it that way? Just because this was the only option to view it when I started using car forms forever ago. That's what I'm used to. It doesn't really matter which one you use. It's not going to affect our class today. Just keep in mind it can be list view, it can be icons, and they can go horizontally or they can go across like mine does, okay? All right, so what I'd first like you guys to do, just because I don't know how many you have, is I'd like you to go up here to this little green plus where it says new, and I'd like to click there.
Doesn't matter if it's green.
No? If it says new, with the plus sign, you click it. Okay. And go ahead and select new purchase or offer, because most of you are probably going to start with buyer deals. I hope that you have a good listing on your first one, but probably most likely a buyer deal. So you'll select new purchase or offer, and you're going to see a box like this pop up. Is everyone with me on the same page? Okay. So under name, why don't we call it Zip Forms class? July 2019. Okay? And go ahead and select residential here under property type. You will automatically have active setup. And then I'd like you guys to hold for a minute because I'm going to choose a random MLS number for you. Not random, but I'm going to choose one of my listings since I know it.
Excuse me,
Yes.
they asked me to complete my profile information.
Because you are a brand new agent.
Yeah, but I did everything, but just the phone number of the company.
Your cell phone probably.
But they said they missed something. They said it's incomplete.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I think I completed everything, but when I push continue,
Put your cell phone number here. Yeah. See the things with the asterisks? Those are mandatory. Okay. No, right here. This is Ronnie. He's new to our mentorship program in our office. There you go. Hit continue. Great, scroll down. No, okay. Now you can go into it, I think.
So I go back.
Yeah. Go to the car. Here. It's okay. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Be right with you. Okay, you're right with us now. Stay
Thank you
here.
very much. Sorry.
You're welcome. All right, so if you guys don't already know, I'm gonna give you a time saving tip. This will not work if you're writing an offer on an off-market property. But if it's on market, it's gonna have an MLS number. So you can go to this MLS Connect here on the right-hand side, and you click it, and the screen is going to pop up. I'd like you all to enter 19-482.
Hold on
Can we do it on the MLS number on the top?
Dash.
Is this on the
No.
What's
Go
this?
on car, sign in on car forms, and new list.
We'll be with you in a second. It's okay. All right. So yes, you guys all enter this number here, 19-482-390. Yes? Okay. And makes it easier to identify if you check this box here. It includes the main listing photo from the MLS. Okay? And then you're gonna click this green find button. And look, it pops in this address, the price, the date, all of that. I don't know why it didn't do the photo. Typically it does. Not sure. Use listing, bottom right, green. And you'll be back at this page. Now we're not going to do anything with this now. Don't click this, but I want to point this out. Select template. I'm going to show you how to create a template and we'll apply it to this later, okay guys? So now everyone just click save green.
I don't have select.
Okay. So for you guys that didn't have that MLS Connect, you probably in your settings need to go into the back end and set up your MLS account within your Winforms. Okay? So I can show you that after class. Okay, so for you guys, that's fine. You can put in any address you want, okay? And you're just gonna have to know that it's gonna be different for you because the way we did it, it's gonna automatically enter information. For you guys, you have to manually enter it. I just want you to know how to do it, so it's okay if it's different, but you can follow along anyhow. Yes?
So when we get on the car, I just like that, which,
Residential.
and then I'll put in the, okay.
And then you're gonna click here. And put
Thank you
in.
so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
And
you.
that's 19.
Yeah, I wrote it,
Got
thank
it.
you.
All right. So now you have a transaction set up. This is a transaction. So for every one of your offers or listings, you're going to have a transaction, a different one. And sometimes you're going to have more than one because sometimes an escrow falls out, right? I hope you don't have many of those, but you probably will at some point have one. All right. So this button here at the far right, all forms, the blue one, this is where you get all of your real estate documents. Okay, so if you click on that, generally speaking, if you're going to write an offer, what document package do we need?
Buyer representation agreement?
Cover sheet.
Buyer representation agreement. You can do a cover sheet if you want, but that's not necessary, especially when you do the MLS Connect.
Oh, I
Cover
see.
sheets for when you want to manually fill out information.
RPA.
The RPA, that's right, thank you. Okay, so the RPA includes the possible representation, the agency disclosure agreement, right? So if you take any of my RPA classes, and most of you have, some of you are new and haven't, I give those every month, so there'll be one soon. But in the meantime, I have a YouTube channel with all of my recorded classes. You can watch the residential purchase agreement class or RPA. So all CAR forms have an acronym, which is why I'm calling the residential purchase agreement the RPA. So I can type in either RPA here or residential purchase agreement. And everything that matches the word residential from our entire library of agent forms is going to auto-populate here in this list. And I'm going to select which one I'd like to. So let me tell you guys, this search bar is your friend.
Thanks.
When I'm not sure what document I use, because I have to use an unorthodox document that I'm not used to, it's not standard in every transaction, I come over here and I play with it. So, right, I know how to do probate, but I don't do them that often. So when I'm doing a probate deal, not all of the documents that pop up when I type in probate in the search bar are going to apply. But if I select each one of them and I read them, I can figure out which ones apply, right? So this Winforms search tool is going to be really helpful for you when you can't reach someone and you don't know what document you need. Once you figure out, doing something like this and searching a term, if you read all the documents, it has a pretty good outline of the things you're supposed to do, right, Nagar? We did a residential income contract.
Absolutely, yeah.
Once we found the contract, it lays out at least most of the basic duties and things that are required in that type of deal for the agent. Okay, so I just wanted you to be aware of that, but we're going to go back to the residential purchase contract. So you're going to type in either RPA or residential here. And once you do so and you see residential purchase agreement, you're going to select that from the list. Okay, you're going to click off of it. And once you do, we're going to go to the actual residential purchase agreement and click on it. All right, so in all residential purchase agreements, you get the mandatory disclosures that are minimally required by law to accompany any contract, which are going to be the agency disclosure, which that's what this is. And you see, my information is already filled out here, right? So that's because this is my listing and I'm the listing agent. And because I have zip forms modified to know that this is me and it can start including my information automatically. But if you don't see your name here, what you're going to do is you're going to type your name in here. Okay? You guys do that? Once you, yes?
I'm sorry, there was two of them. Which one did you click on? The residential purchase agreement 1218 or the California residential purchase agreement? The same one?
This,
Same thing.
Sorry.
It's okay. Sometimes you will see multiple versions of the same document, and that's because they get modified. If you select the wrong one, you're literally going to get a message that pops up as a pop-up screen that says, this document or this form has been replaced. Please see, and it will give you the date and title of the new document, okay? So that does happen. You will see that.
so I can do that, yes.
Yep.
I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so once you type in your name down here, we don't need to do this now. I just want you to be aware. When you fill out an offer or a real estate form, I want you to read everything and I want you to look at every line that's blue. That means it could potentially be filled out. It doesn't mean that it needs to be, but it means that you need to review it to decide if you need to modify it in some way. So for this instance, because we're doing a buyer offer, I may have one or two buyers, right? So at least at a minimum, I should be checking one buyer box, and I need to put that buyer's name in here. Okay, so my buyer is going to be John Smith, okay? And just so you know, we don't have to put Mr. or anything like that, but if John Smith was married, I don't put in this one box John Smith and Jane Smith, or John and Jane Smith. I put John Smith here, and if I had Jane Smith, I would need to select the second buyer box, and I would then type in Jane Smith underneath here, right? Because they are two separate people, even if they are a married couple or related. Okay, so you would normally have to fill in our brokerage DRE license number, but we're not going to go through all that. I want you to understand the functionality of this. We're not actually writing an offer now. When you come to my RPA class, then I'll go over all of these lines with you.
So that number doesn't auto-populate?
It can auto-populate, and I'll show you when we go to the template section of the class how to make sure that that happens every time so you're not entering information over and over again and you save a lot of time. When I write an offer, I can get it done in between 5 and 10 minutes if I have the property record in front of me. And it's because of these templates. People are like, how do you do that? And I'm like, it's back-end work. It's not because I'm better. It's because I set it up. Okay, so we're going to scroll down now just to show you something on the next document. Look at this. We entered John Smith. We entered Jane Smith. You entered your name. And now it's auto-populating. For me, I get Tamara also because I have my back-end stuff set up and I have a business partner, and that's Tamara. So her information automatically populates along with our DRE numbers. Yours probably is not at this point, but we're going to fix that momentarily, okay? All right, so I just wanted you to be aware of how to add a document, how to fill it out, and to be aware of the fact that once you type in a line somewhere, it's going to auto-populate. If you fill in a buyer line, all buyer lines are going to have this name, okay? All right, so go ahead and click Save here at the top. And then hit Back.
Save.
Save and Back. Okay, so if you wanted to add more forms, you could do that by going over here to the right side under All Forms, typing in something else. Let's say on this one we needed a contingency removal form because we were going to offer contingency removal with our offer. If you don't understand what that means, it's okay. This is not for the technical part of this. This is just to be familiar with using this program and knowing that we can add another document after we added the first one and where to do it, okay? So great, now we know how to add documents, we know how to fill them out. Now I'm going to click this Back to List green button.
Wait. This contingency removal, just click on it.
Yeah, you don't have to click on it, but that's how you'd add it. Go ahead and
Oh.
click on it. You'll see it's automatically added to the transaction.
Okay.
Okay, remember, this is a transaction and we're in the transaction section. So we're gonna hit back to list, which takes us out of the transaction section. What we're gonna do now is come to the very top bar here and we're gonna click on templates. Okay, so click on templates. And this section is why I can write an offer so fast. And this is why I make fewer errors, is because I took the time one time, triple checked it, and then I can apply it to every new transaction. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and click new at the top left. You're gonna select new purchaser offer, and today we're gonna set up a template for you guys each for a buyer offer, okay?
Excuse me, did you go to the back to this and then, I'm sorry.
I'm coming, it's okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know why I got this one here.
You're good. You're gonna hit templates and then renew. You're in templates. You're just gonna click this button.
Okay, new here, okay.
There you go.
Oh.
Okay, so now you're in the same place we are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else need the sign-in
It's
sheet?
been a long time.
Probably not.
Thanks.
Yeah?
Thank you.
All right. So you can have this name as whatever you want. For me, if it was mine, I would say buyer offer package, and I would probably say July in 2019. Any idea why it might be smart to label it with a month and year?
Because the forms change all the time.
That's right, the forms change all the time, and I don't want to use the wrong one if I know it's changed recently. So I may have multiple buyer offer templates in here. I have a business partner, right? And we do everything 50-50, but let's say for some reason, you know, I was writing an offer for my dad, and we weren't going to take commission on it. I needed to write one for myself. I do have a separate template for making an offer or a listing just under my name. Tamara just joined me in November, oh, not even November, she became my partner like in February maybe, after she graduated the mentorship program. So I do have one just as myself. I just want you to know you can have multiple versions, and so the more specific you are in your name, the better you're set up not to select the wrong one and make an error and have to go back and double your work. Okay, so I'm going to call this buyer offer template for class. Okay, you're going to select under property type residential, and this says auto apply. It's already defaulted to do not automatically apply this template to new transactions, and that's the way I'd like to keep it, right? Because not all of my transactions are buyer offers. Some of them are listings. Okay, so leave it that way, and you can go ahead and click this green button, save. This drop down right here is it's more advanced. It's like if you want to apply a template to add to a template, so stay away from that until you really understand the program. So we're clicking save. Okay, great. I'd like you now to go ahead and go back to the top here under transactions. You're going to go into the transaction you created just before we created a template, okay? Oh, I'm so sorry. We created a template, but we didn't put anything in the template. All right, go back to templates. Go back into the template you just created if you have more than one. So this is mine. And in order for it to be a template, right, there has to be something in there so it actually time saves for you. If you have this message box here with the red X, go ahead and X it out. And click all forms at the top right hand corner. Okay, so we just did a manual transaction with the RPA, but now we're going to set up the template. So you're going to type in either RPA or residential up here. And you're going to go ahead and select again, residential purchase agreement.
Right on the top?
Uh-huh.
I don't have the choice of going to forms. Thank you. I have a phone. Oh.
Did you have to go here? You okay?
Thank you.
So now that we're in your template and you've added an RPA or residential purchase agreement, you're gonna click on it. And now we are gonna enter all of that information. That's always going to be the same for every offer you write. Okay, so you're gonna see we don't have any address, right? Because that's gonna change every offer you write. We're not gonna have buyer or seller name because that's also gonna change. Now, there are some clients who do a lot of business, or some agents who do a lot of business with a single client or write a lot of offers for them. So if you have a developer client who is basically having you door knock all over the place in an area, you may want to set up a template that includes that developer's contact info, right, on the signature lines and things like that. But other than that, for the most part, this should work for you. Okay, so no buyer name, but the agent is going to say the same. So you're going to click on the agent tab and you're going to type in your name.
That page, what page?
Huh?
This page, AJ name, right?
Wait, first it's the firm, right? Isn't it Keller Williams? Beverly Hills?
Oh, sorry, yes. I'm sorry, guys. This is Keller Williams Beverly Hills.
Okay.
And I'll get the brokerage ID for us. This is going to be this. Okay, this is going to be the same for all of us. So what the number that Sharon is reading to you right now?
014287751.
8771
Five.
5. Okay, so 014287775.
775.
Yes.
That's Brian's, right?
Yeah.
No,
That's the office.
it's not. It's the office. It can be done both ways. And it usually depends upon the size of the office and if there's a DBA. But that's above and beyond anything we need to know. If you are in doubt and you want to find out, you can check on California Department of Real Estate website. If you look yourself up, you'll see your employer broker ID there. Also, if you ever need to find another agent because you're writing an offer, you can go ahead and search their last name, comma, first name, do the same thing. When you find them, you click on them, and on the same screen, it will have their employing broker, and it will have the employing broker ID, and that's the number you enter in for their brokerage. Okay, so here we go. Now it's going to be here under the salesperson or broker associate, your name. And no one can answer this for you. Only you know what your DRE number is. I don't know how I don't know mine by heart, but I don't. Yep, I know.
I think if you just put the first digit, it will probably just
Oh, you know how many people I've worked for or with though? It won't for me.
I don't know why my heart, because I
So,
have it
It's
locked
only
in.
business card.
So let me give you guys all a tip right now.
My emails.
Any correspondence you have should have your DRE number listed.
All I need.
So if you have an email address, that's your business address, you should have a signature line that has that in it if you don't already. I do, so I can go ahead and go to my sent email anytime I want. That's my quick fix of not having it memorized. I have my bank account numbers memorized. I don't know how I don't have this memorized, but I don't. So you can enter it in here now.
Because it's saved, it's like I have no telephone.
Oh, look, see, I popped mine up. Look at my drop down. Oh well, now that I've entered something, it doesn't.
There are too many now.
But, and you're gonna find as you go also, Winforms is just weird. My drop downs sometimes have one, sometimes have none, sometimes have 20 things listed, and I don't know why or how, nor do I know how to delete or modify it. But that's why I do a template, so I don't have to worry about the drop downs. Okay? So you entered that, everyone on the same page, we've all done this? Yes.
Quick question. Is the DRE and BRE number the same?
Yes, so forever we've been the Department of Real Estate. A few years ago, there was a policy change. They decided to change their name to the Bureau of Real Estate, and it became the BRE. However, they have recently changed back to Department, so for it to be legally valid, it should say DRE. Okay? So if you have an email signature line that says BRE, you probably want to update it to DRE. And a lot of old school agents won't have any idea what you're talking about when you say BRE.
Yeah,
because-
I have it.
Yeah,
BRE, but everybody still has BRE.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So funny.
Okay, so there's nothing else to fill out on a template on that form. We're gonna scroll down and you're gonna see, look, yay, It already populated to the next form. Okay. And same thing with this wire fraud. There's nothing for an agent to sign or fill out here. Also, nothing on here at the top portion to fill out. Now, for a newer agent, I don't necessarily recommend this. But as you become more experienced, I do recommend pre-filling out some of the fields on the RPA that are more standard. I'll go through with you so you can see what I would pre-fill out and why, and I'll tell you which ones we never deviate from, almost never, but there are exceptions. And I'll tell you the ones that I might fill out because they're my preferences and it's what I push with my clients, although it's ultimately up to my clients, okay? All right, and remember, this can really mess you up when you start using templates if you have these fields pre-filled in and you write an offer and you forget to ask your client, and then your client's like, well, why did you fill this out? You didn't ask me about it, right? Okay. So, typically speaking, when I'm writing a buyer offer, I'm going to be representing just the buyer. So if you represent both the seller and the buyer, or the listing agent as anyone in this specific office, this selection is going to be wrong. Okay? Dual agency means anyone at the same brokerage, not just the same agency, or same agent. Okay?
What if it's like Keller Williams Santa Monica? Because I get a lot of theirs.
That's a different office with different ownership.
Okay.
If your clients ever ask you about that, you can tell them each office is independently owned and operated. Okay? When you're in doubt though, what would it be safer to say? Probably dual. So if you're ever truly in doubt, right? Like there are a couple of KW offices here that have the same operating principles, meaning owners. Could that be legally defined as dual agency? Possibly. But if you don't know, don't worry about it. I think for us, we could go either way because Keller Williams is independently owned and operated. As long as you're conscientious of it, I think you're okay. Okay. All right, so I'm not actually going to click this box because I write offers on my own property and to other agents in this office all the time. Although I've never closed a deal with an agent in this office. We should change that, right guys?
Yes.
I'd like to change that. Okay. The initial deposit is going to be based on your purchase price offer, so you don't ever pre-fill anything out there. Same thing with the financial terms. What someone's going to borrow for a loan or pay in cash is all going to depend on your buyer, so you're not going to fill out any of this. Same thing with date. Now, I am never ever going to make an offer without proof of funds, ever, because it's worthless. And if my client won't give me a proof of funds, I don't think I should be writing offers for them. I'm very concerned about their ability to actually buy, and it's time for me to have a conversation with them. So, on page 2 of our RPA, you can it's probably safe to say you can check H, verification attached. Okay?
Do we actually have to see it, or you trust it, like if you know it?
You have to see it because you're going to deliver it with your offer.
Oh, you deal with yourself that you can, I mean, we can send it to the listing agent, the buyer?
You send it to the listing agent.
Uh-huh.
You don't want your buyer ever to have direct contact with the
okay.
listing agent.
And, okay.
So they're equivalent, the verification and proof of funds?
Yes, proof of funds is verification of down payment and closing costs.
Right.
Or the entire purchase price if it's an all-cash offer. But that's in a different section. Almost always you're going to have a loan. So this is here. And even if it's cash, this box is going to be checked anyhow. So this box is safe to check. All right. You don't know if you're going to have an appraisal contingency. So you wouldn't alter this section at all. Same thing with loan terms. However, for me as a little bit more of an advanced agent, I'm okay with saying, you know what? Most of my offers are going to have loans. I wish that wasn't the case, and all of my buyers were all cash, but it probably isn't going to be. For me, I'm experienced and I like to be aggressive with my buyer offers because I know that if I'm not aggressive, I'm probably not going to get the deal for my clients. So for me, this is per the lender. Typically, I ask my buyer's lender if I can get the appraisal done in 14 days. So if you're not really experienced agent, you probably don't want to fill this out, but I typically do, to 14. Now, all of you still have to check with the lender. All of you, our industry standard for a loan contingency removal is about 17 days. It's hard to do it any faster. This would be information you got from your buyer's lender. But 21 is considered a little excessive, right? So if you wanted to, you could fill this out. Oh, sorry. Also under this J loan terms, this button here, letter attached, this is your pre-qualification letter. So if you're gonna do an offer with a loan, the letter's probably gonna be attached.
That's
Yes.
From the lender.
With the loan contingency, do you find that standard, like the conventional lenders, the big conventional lenders tend to be 17 or 21? 'Cause I would
They'll say they can do
21.
it in 17,
It's really
but
21.
probably 21.
Okay.
But you want your offer accepted, you probably need it to be 17. But like I said, unless you're a little bit more of an advanced agent, you probably don't want to pre-fill this out, and no matter how advanced you are, you're going to have to check with your buyer's lender to see if 17 is going to work for them. Okay? There are sometimes I put 1 in here, or 0. But that's because my buyer's lenders told me they have them fully qualified ahead of time. Yes?
So 2 questions. So we can put down 14, that's fine, right? If you think we can do it within 14 days.
In section I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And J3, so.
J3 would be 17, but that'd be up to the lender. You have to confirm that with the lender,
If
don't
you
just write it.
think you can get it in 14, you could.
I don't think you can get it in 14 most lenders, even
Okay.
really good ones.
Okay.
Why? Why? Well, your appraisal is going to take some time. So if the appraisal is going to take some time and it takes the appraisal coming in and review in order to fully approve the loan, you might have a hard time getting it fully approved in that time period. But that's an RPA class, or that's probably a multiple buyer offer class when I teach you how to get your buyer offer accepted. I've only done that once. I'll do it again soon. Okay. Okay. There is nothing here that is standard, okay? All of these are a case-by-case basis, and they're not that common, but they're not that uncommon either. Can anyone tell me what the most common type of attachment might be?
Probate, right?
Probably not probate. It's probably actually contingency. It's probably, sorry. Where are you?
Trust advisory?
Buyer inspection advisory, you have that.
Buyer inspection advisory is always checked. It's because it's part of this agreement already.
Statewide buyer and seller.
No, and it's not on here anymore because
Oh.
I've been in the business so long, I'm so used to the contract being a certain way. I was gonna say that it would be probably the seller to remain in possession or a lease back, residential lease after sale. That's its own section now in the contract. I date myself sometimes. Sometimes I say, oh, page 8 of the contract, just confirm my offer. Well, now it's 10 pages long, and I'm like, oh, I just aged myself. Our contract was 8 pages for forever while I was doing it. Now it's 10. So.
In another year, it'll be like 20.
Probably, yes. When my dad started in real estate, it was 1 page.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, none of these are standard. Now, under allocation of costs, there are some pretty standard costs. So I'm very confident in you filling these guys out. But remember to review them, every offer that you write anyhow, and make sure you don't want to make any changes based on information you find out. So 7A1, the natural hazard zone disclosure report, it is industry standard that our seller pays for that. Just because you have this box checked in your template doesn't mean that you're not going to have to go here and fill something out when you make your offer. But you now have the 1 checkbox there, and when you make your offer, you can fill that out. But that's going to change each time. Okay? The next page.
Don't you click on environmental as well?
I don't.
Oh.
I don't get environmental from my buyers. If you want to, it's a preference. Go for it. I've never seen the importance of it, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Christine, why they say that the seller shall to pay for the following report? There's nothing in there. What are they supposed to do? Why is that?
You could ask the seller to pay for anything. Is it industry standard for them to pay for it? Probably not.
No.
So I've actually, I think 1 time ever, I've used this option, and it was because the house clearly had structural damage, and a structural engineering report is thousands of dollars. And so as part of our negotiation of the offer was that the seller was to pay for a structural engineering report and inspection by a selection of the buyer's inspector, or by buyer's choice for the inspector. But I've only ever done that once in my entire career. It's non-standard. Okay, next page. These two questions under section 2 are about retrofitting and building reports. They do not apply in every city, but does it matter if it doesn't apply and you check these? It shouldn't. If it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. But if they are required for whatever city you're writing your offer in, the seller should be paying for it. So I go ahead and I do, in my template, check these two here. Also, under escrow and title, section C, I check both buyer and seller, and I say each to pay their own as customary. Because in most transactions, buyer and seller pay their own escrow fees. Now, when I write the offer, I will definitely have to fill out who the escrow company is going to be, but I don't know that in my template, and this needs to apply to every transaction, or as many transactions as it can, right? So I want to keep it very vanilla so that it saves me time, not add time.
What's the name of our escrow company here?
Cannon Hills.
Cannon Hills, but if this is a buyer offer, you know what I'm writing? Seller's choice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am not writing in the escrow company if I'm representing the buyer, unless it's a property that's been sitting on the market for months and months and has no other offers. Then I'm gonna write anything I want, basically. All right. Now under C2, the seller pays for owner's title insurance policy. People say, oh, don't buyers get title insurance also? If they have a loan, they are required to, but look at this little blurb here. Automatically, the contract says that the buyer is going to pay for title insurance insuring the buyer's lender. Okay? So seller pays for what is called an ALTA policy, or sorry, CLTA policy, and the buyer pays, if they have a loan, for what is called an ALTA policy. All right. And like before, I don't know what company is going to be used or if I'm going to be offering seller's choice in here, so I leave it blank. Under D, 1 and 2 are paid for by the seller, almost always. On occasion, I've had a buyer offer where there are like 20 other offers and maybe my buyer selected to pay these fees for the seller, but these are the seller's transfer taxes based on the purchase price. Not every home is going to have the second option of city transfer tax, but they will all have county transfer tax. Does it matter if you have this checked and it doesn't have city tax? No, it doesn't. It just doesn't apply. So, for example, the city of Los Angeles has both city and county transfer taxes, but Beverly Hills has only county transfer taxes. Yes?
Back to C2,
Yeah.
underneath, wouldn't you, if you're doing that the seller shall pay owner's title, then underneath, wouldn't you put seller's choice as well?
Not necessarily. Most of the time, yes, 95% of the time, I'm going to say seller's choice.
Common? Oh, that's
It's pretty
the
common when I'm
standard
making a buyer offer.
Okay.
Yes. However, what if my buyer has another property in escrow? Probably easier to have the same escrow company.
Okay.
Also, the main reason I'm not pre-filling this out is because as a good agent, you should be asking your buyer, do they have any preference as to escrow and title? That it's more competitive to offer seller's choice. And, you know, ultimately we'd like the price and we'd like to get the escrow, right? So most of them are going to take my recommendation of going with seller's choice. But on occasion, for some strong reason, maybe their sister is an escrow officer, they may want to use escrow. Or maybe they've had good experiences. If it's a developer client, they're almost always going to want you to write their choices in here. Why? They get cheaper deals. They get cheaper escrow and title fees.
Would that affect the possibility of their offer to be accepted?
Maybe, maybe not. You gotta gauge the situation. But we're not talking about strategy in this class, we're talking about templates. Okay, which is why we're not filling anything out in here. Okay, so back to D 1 and 2. Seller shall pay the taxes. That's standard. In your template, I would feel confident in you selecting both of those. 3 through 9 is all about HOA. And typically the seller pays all of those fees, but not all of your offers are going to be on condos. A lot of them are going to be on single family residences. So if you are so busy that you want to make a separate template for condo purchase agreements, these would all be checked. But my guess is most of us are not that busy, and so you can go ahead and manually check these if you need to at the time you write an offer, if it's a condo. If it's not a condo, they're not going to be checked because they don't apply. Okay, 10. I also don't fill out anything on 10 for home warranty because I don't know how much it's going to cost. Home warranty cost is based on square footage of a home, so I don't like filling it out. But typically the seller pays for it. Typically the buyer or buyer's agent does choose the home warranty company, right? But once again, you should be consulting your buyer about this, so I don't fill it out ahead of time. And then the optional coverages, air conditioner, pool, spa, other. Well, not every home has a pool or spa, right? So that's why I'm leaving it alone. Okay. Or the buyer may waive the home warranty purchase altogether. It's one of my favorite things to waive when I want my buyer offer to look a little more attractive to a seller.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
For single family home, is it a standard home warranty or is it still different?
Is
And
it
can you put the maximum in there? Let's say
Upgraded is better.
not to exceed, when you say the card not to exceed, how do you protect yourself? When you
Call the
single-
home warranty company you like to use and ask them how much it's going to cost. They'll ask you a few questions like its square
I see.
footage and things like that. Okay?
So you don't know.
And if you want any more insight as to that, come to my RPA class. We talk about it there every single time. Okay? Good. No. Restart tonight, not now. Okay. I leave all of this blank because not always do I have stove, washer, dryer, or refrigerator there. Sometimes I have a vacant home. All right, same thing with items excluded. We're going to skip through all of this, and we're going to skip down to page, oh, yeah, this is time frames. Once again, we're not going to get into that because it's going to be different in every deal. Skip all the way down to page 10.
Awesome.
9. Yes, 9. Okay. 9. Section 31. Expiration of offer. Now, every time I make an offer, it's going to have a different expiration. But I'm always going to, this line above. But I'm always going to say that the offer should be delivered to me because I'm the agent, right? So that's never going to change. So I'm going to type my name in here. So 31, expiration of offer, the very first line, put your name. Okay. So I'm scrolling down, now I'm on page 10. You see it auto-populated with my brokerage. The brokerage is DRE, my name, my DRE. That saves a lot of time. But what also is not going to change for me is my address. So I'm going to go ahead, and you guys all have the same address here too. It needs to be the brokerage address, no other address, okay? So 439 North Cannon Drive. You can say 3rd floor, penthouse, suite 300, any of those 3 work, okay?
I'm sorry, what number are you on there?
I'm not on number, I'm under the, I'm on page 10. And where it's just under E, presentation of offer. Yeah. So, 3rd floor, the city's not gonna change, Beverly Hills. State. Zip code. The other thing that's never going to change is the primary telephone number that I want on my buyer offers. That's going to be my cell phone number. I don't want anyone faxing me stuff because that comes here to the office. An important fax coming in, especially like a counter offer or something like on the weekend. No one's here. No one's going to tell me about it. So I never put a fax number in here. Email. That's also going to never change for me. So you might want to type in your email here. And you're going to want to type in the email you're going to use for your business here. If you don't know what that is, don't have it, or change it, you can change this at any time by going back into the template. They are editable, okay? All right, so you guys just completed your very first template, so you can go up here and click Save. Yay! And you can click Back. So, you go, now, remember we were modifying one of the documents we put into our template. If you wanted to add more documents here, you could. This is probably okay. This is probably the only thing you need in your buyer offer template. We do have brokerage disclosures. I don't bother sending them out until we know we've got a deal, right? Why have your buyer sign all the KW disclosures if you don't know if you're going to go into an escrow? And it's extra work and extra explanation you have to give to them when you have no idea if it's worth any of the time and effort and energy. So your RPA package is probably good enough. You can click this button, back to list, at the top left in green. And now you have your buyer offer template, okay? So at any time, from anywhere, if you go up to this section, you're already in it, so you don't need to click it, but you can go up to this section at the top that says templates, and you can go into that buyer offer template, and you can edit it if you want to, okay? But that's probably not gonna happen that often, okay? So I'm gonna go over here and hit back to list.
Mine's missing.
Okay.
And you already hit save. So it's gonna be templates. Let's move on. I wonder if you do that in the transactions. Yes.
That's okay, you know how to do it. We can recreate it.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is it? Probably,
I don't know.
You saved it as buyer offer. How do you say?
What happened? Oh, here? I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah. Just a glitch on yours. Okay, so there you are, but now we're gonna go, back to transactions. I got you. I'm gonna start editing.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so we're all on the template screen. You can go in, you can modify, you can delete it, whatever you want to do. Okay, but now I want you to go back into transaction section. Click there. All right. We just did in the transaction section an RPA package manually, right? So I'd like you all to click on whatever it was you named it that we just created at the beginning of class. I'd like you, once you go in, to click on all forms. And anything you might have added here, I'd like to delete now. So there are two ways to do it. If you don't do it this way, I'm just going to show you. If you wanted to delete a single document, you would right click on the drop down arrow and you'd say delete. But since we want to delete everything, I'm going to X out here. I'm going to go up to delete at the top. When you click delete at the top, you're given options for deleting multiple files. So I'm going to go ahead, select both of them, and then select delete at the top right-hand corner.
Can you go back
I
one
lost
step?
it.
Yeah, I can go back there.
There's no delete on it.
Okay. So if you are in your transaction, who's lost, guys? Okay.
Have a good weekend. Good to see you.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Last week, I had some.
Some of you might have, like Sharon did, a little box on this side that says ... more. So if you don't see delete and you see more, click on there and you'll find the delete button under there, okay? So now we're gonna hit delete, or more and then delete, depending on your screen, and we're gonna select anything that's here. And we're gonna click delete. Why am I doing that? Because I'm gonna use the same example transaction to apply the template we just created to it instead, okay? Right now we have blank forms in here, so we're deleting them, yes? And so now instead, I'm going to show you how once you're in a transaction, you can apply a template. So now that I've deleted those forms, I don't know why this is here, don't know what this is. I think I have too many transactions in my car form, so it starts archiving stuff.
I have
it
I have
Oh, do you? Okay.
I don't have any.
All right, so now we're gonna, it's okay, we're gonna go up here. Do you see this selection, apply template? And you're gonna hit apply template. And look, all templates that are in your template section are gonna pop up here. So remember that name, I told you it was important so you could very easily identify your template, the template you wanted to use. Here's my template I wanna use. Do you need help?
You're in transaction now?
I went into the transaction, yeah.
So I don't have the template. What did you say?
It's right here, apply template.
I don't have my.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have that either. I don't have that app.
You don't, okay, it may be a glitch like we just experienced over here. For her, we went in and out of templates. So we're gonna start over. Everyone follow me and go up to templates, click it. Do you see your template you just created now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now go to transactions. Click on the transaction,
Which one did you do?
the one we created today. Transactions. And a helpful tip, guys, do you see where it says 1 minute ago? If you can't remember what transaction it was, if you look there and it says 1 minute ago, that's probably the right one. So you click on it. Now I'm hoping this works, but I don't know. Click all forms. Click off of it. And then come here. Do you guys see the apply template now? Okay, it is a glitch where you just have to go in and out when you create a new one. So the next time you create a new template, just know you're gonna have to go in and out once in order to find it. Okay, so hit apply template. Select the template we created today. And then hit apply. Now click on it.
Yeah, but I think I'm
Ronnie, do you need help?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm late.
Now scroll through this and just check to make sure all this pre-filled information that we set up in your template is included.
Like from here, I go directly on all forms.
There you go, and then delete these. There you go. I'm gonna put this in now. And now you're gonna be exactly where we are. Click on it. See, you are.
Yes.
Yes,
I got Tamara's name too.
because you wrote it in.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Why would I write it?
Okay, just because you were on autopilot. Okay, so you're gonna click back. You're gonna go into your, okay, so right now you're gonna follow me. We just discovered that the template that was made was incorrect. Hold on. So I'm gonna take you back and show you how to edit that template, okay? We just did that, we just checked that, but hit back. Where do you edit a template? In the template section. So if you go into templates, see it now? Go into it. And look for a place where it has Tamara's name and delete it. Then click save. Click,
No, it's not here, see?
go to the top.
Yeah, it's not there.
It's not there.
Because of, I think, that MLS number that we put.
Oh, it's because, yeah.
Exactly.
It's because we've already done the MLS Connect. Sorry, your template's correct. And that's because we already had an RPA in there that I had you delete. And so let me show you how to disconnect that, okay? If you go back to list, and you go into that transaction, or this is a template, sorry. So if I go into the transaction, and I hit this drop down, and you go to the right-hand column under transaction details, you can actually disconnect it somehow. I thought. Hold on.
Wait, how did you get that? So
Close.
Right, this
Click on
this
that.
drop down.
it's supposed to-
So transactions and the right drop down.
Right, drop down here.
So transaction details. But I think it's a glitch also. So I screwed you up a little bit because I had you do the MLS Connect. You can also fix it manually. So go ahead and click on your transaction. And you only have to do it in one place, so it doesn't take tons of time. Okay, so go to all forms. Go into the purchase agreement template document you have there. And scroll down to anywhere you find Tamara's name. Go ahead and delete it along with her identifying info. One time. And not all of you will have this because not all of you had the MLS Connect, right?
I am lost, so.
I'll show you. So once you delete it, it's deleted everywhere. Once you delete it in one place. But the best place to delete it is on page 10 where I just was, because it also has email, telephone, and address for tomorrow there. Page 9. I just told you page 10, but it's page 9.
So we actually don't have tomorrow's information on the template, we just have it on
Right,
this
you just had it in the
transaction
transaction
because it was connected to
to the MLS listing,
So
that's
we won't
right.
have that problem in the future using
Yeah,
the
actually you
template.
can leave this here because if you MLS Connect and you apply a template, you do want the other agent on the other side's information here, okay? So, but I do want you to see that you can delete even after you apply a template or MLS Connect, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to make the changes across the entire transaction.
How did you get to this one?
It's okay though, because this is an example transaction, and if you were writing an offer on this property to us, her info would need to be here. But it's not on your template, okay? So you don't need to delete it, you can if you want to. It's here because you applied a template and you applied MLS Connect, which is what you'd want to do if you were making your real offer.
Oh,
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
yeah.
All right. So I know that's a lot of back and forth.
And should I save it now?
Go ahead. Okay.
How do you?
So yeah, I'm sorry. If Tamara's name was there and you did MLS Connect, it was right. It was right. Okay. Yeah. So let's do one more, right? From scratch, using both so that it's easy for you.
Can you talk about that e-sign there?
No. I hate e-sign and I won't use it.
So
I use DocuSign.
DocuSign.
And that's a whole other class in and of itself.
Can we have a DocuSign class also?
There's DocuSign tutorials online and a service for that. I don't know if there are classes,
They can help you also, if you call the DocuSign number,
but
they have a
DocuSign,
support, they do, we go step by step.
But-
But the best thing is if DocuSign is a little bit, if you have relatives, you just go, because DocuSign is easy, not really that difficult.
but DocuSign, yeah, it's very easy to use. I'll show you a couple of tricks here real quick in a second though, okay? So now that I've thoroughly confused everyone by telling you it's wrong when it's right and it's right when it's wrong, go ahead and click back and we're going to,
You have to save this one once once we delete Tamara.
it's okay with or without Tamara. Ultimately with her would have been correct in our situation, which is why we're doing a new one. So don't worry about that. It's an example, okay? So, let's say we just logged into Carforms, hit back to dashboard or click dashboard. Okay? So, there are two ways to do this. You can either go to transactions or create a new transaction. This option on the right wasn't here when I started, so I'm old school and I click transactions at the top. So we're pretending now like we're writing a whole new offer. We've got our template in place, we've got all of that. Okay? So if I'm writing a new offer, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click new. And if I'm making a purchase offer, then I'm going to click new purchaser offer. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3 test, okay? Because this is, I probably already have a 1, 2, 3 test. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4 test. Typically, I name this with the property address. Why not the buyer name? I might write a lot of offers for a single buyer before I end up closing them in a deal. What's that?
No, I tried to respond to the question.
Yeah.
That was wrong.
It's okay. So I put in the property address. Sorry. Hello? Great. I'll be leaving here in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Bye. Okay. So I'm going to put in the name here, 1234 test. And if I was going to do MLS Connect, which if you have it, you should. It does save you time. You would enter the MLS number in here, click this box for include property photo, and then find. Once you see the address and or picture pop up here, you would select use listing, okay? So we're not going to enter an MLS number in here, but that's how you do it. So you'd go back to here after that, and you'd select the property type, which is residential. If you're making an offer, it's probably active. Sometimes it's pending if you're making a backup offer. Does it matter if you have this checked as pending? No. The only person who sees this is you. Okay, so this section is not important. And then, remember how I had to apply the template in the transaction? Well, from now on, you don't have to actually be in the transaction to apply the template. Now that I'm making a new transaction, I can select this apply transaction, and all of my templates are going to pop up. So everyone, you should see the template you just created in this drop-down. Select it, and go ahead and click Save. If you click All Forms, yay! Look, our RPA with all of our personal information is here automatically for us. So now what do you need to do? All you need to do is fill out your offer terms. So go into it, verify it, all your info's there. Yay! Okay, DocuSign. I'm not going to wait for you guys to sign in or any of that. I'll give you a very, very quick tutorial using, we'll use this offer. Oh, it won't let me print it out because I don't have info filled. I'm sure I have one saved on my desktop somewhere.
Do we get so many free before we have to pay for that, or is it
So
just?
you get CD.
DocuSign?
Yeah.
You have to pay for it.
Okay.
They give you CD, I think sometimes they give you CD and then
So the free ones don't have the full functionality that you'll need to operate as a real estate agent. You do not have to use DocuSign. You can use the e-sign. I don't like it because it's not user-friendly when you're entering multiple sellers and buyers, or when you have a buyer or seller that's an entity name. The reason why is you write your contract and offer to purchase in the name of the entity. So if, as a buyer, I'm buying through an LLC, your offer should be from 123 LLC or whatever it is. But on your signature lines, 123 LLC is not a person. They can't sign a document. So if I am the managing member of the LLC, right, my signature line needs to say Kristen Toll, comma, managing member. However, with the e-sign service that comes through Winforms, that becomes very complicated. There are workarounds, but it's so complicated, I don't even deal with it.
And also some of the agents are not familiar with the e-sign. They're more familiar with DocuSign.
Well, that's neither here nor there. I'm telling you why I like DocuSign.
Yes, yes, that's good.
So, for DocuSign, you'd select New, send an envelope. You can upload as many documents as you like. I'll upload 2 here just because I want to show you some functionality when you're working with multiple documents. I'm picking random documents that already have signatures on them, but yours won't have signatures on them. That's why you use DocuSign. And I want to show you, so let's say, oh man, I would actually like this one to come first. I can literally drag it over, okay? If I'm like, oh man, I forgot, it's the wrong version, I can say, delete document. If I'm like, oh no, there was a 3rd document, I can go ahead and upload a 3rd one very easily, right? Instead of going back like like the e-signature, the liquid ink, is that what it's called? From Winforms, whatever it's called. I can upload another one. I can also click here, I can rename the document, which I like, because my client doesn't know what an SIP is. So I could say lease back agreement if I wanted to. I don't think it's necessary. I just want you to see the functionality that you can rename things. Some of the other things that I love here are that I can change things after the fact. So there's me, I add a recipient, Who's got a really, Netta. Netta, what's your last name? Spell it for me.
AGAH.
What's your email?
AGAH Neda at sign gmail.com.
At what?
Gmail.com.
Okay. Great. I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, I want her to sign first. I can come in here and click 1, and then for me, click 2. And I changed the signing order very easily. Or I'd be like, oh no, that's the wrong, I forgot her middle initial. I can put that in. Once I start the document, I can also go back to that, and I'll show you that in a second. So I'm good here. Next. All right. I love it because, well, number one, when you use the signing service through Winforms, it places signatures and dates and things for you automatically. It's a good way to make a mistake. If you are not double checking yourself before your client signs the document, I think you might be hurting yourself. So I like to manually do it. So if this was Netta, by the way, I can switch between people for signatures, whoever I want to drop down. And then I literally just click on it and I drag it over, whatever it is, a signature. And I want a date. And, oh, wrong signature. I can click on it and hit the delete button. Or, oh, that's the wrong person for date. I can literally click on it, come over here and say, no, that's actually Kristen's date. There's a lot of flexibility with DocuSign that there aren't with other signing services. That's why I like it. Let's say I'm like, oh no, I forgot the husband, Netta's husband, her non-existent husband, right?
Yeah.
her future husband does not need to sign this yet. Or does need to sign this, you know, her fake husband needs to sign this. I can say actions, edit recipients, and I can go in and I can add another one, like before I hit send. And you can change anything in DocuSign before you hit send. It's super, super user-friendly.
Yeah.
Unlike the other signing services. But for me, how many times do I have to change things or edit something that I screwed up after I write an offer? And when do I catch it? Of course I catch it when I think I'm all done. So that's why I like DocuSign, is because I don't have to drop everything I'm doing. I can go ahead and change things once I get started and I catch them in my final review. When I'm all said and done, and I'll have, it also, oh, delete. I don't have a third one. When it's all said and done, it has better functionality, like, I lost my train of thought entirely. I don't know. It's just a better program. And so John was talking about the different versions of DocuSign. The reason that I like the professional version, which is like $40 a month or $48 a month maybe, and like $400 or $500 a year. I know it's a lot, and you don't have to have it right away. When I was a new agent, believe me, I used that e-sign service and I learned why it was worth paying the money, ultimately. So with the DocuSign, if you try to go for the free route version, you won't have things like checkbox. Checkbox is very important. Why is a checkbox important? Come on, guys. Anyone who's written a counteroffer, ever. I'll show you. Oh, I won't show you. I don't have an RPA in here. If you're going to counter an RPA, you have to check a box that says this offer is subject to the attached counter offer. And I always put that box for myself. Why? What if my clients made a mistake or forgot to check it and hit finish? Then all of a sudden they just accepted an offer they meant to counter. Right? So I always set the checkbox for myself, even though technically the buyer could do it. I set it for myself, but only the professional version of DocuSign has a checkbox. Also, anything with acceptance or acknowledgement, it can see this time stamp on this one? Because this is a counteroffer. Oh, there we go. Yay. It will always have a place for date, for time. And unless you have the checkbox, you can't easily check it. Now, what else could you do if you only can go the basic route? Is you could get text, and you could put it right here, And click over here and you could put an X if you had to do it that way, okay? There's your workaround if you can't afford the professional version initially, okay? All right, any questions? I've got to go pick up my car, so quick like bunny. No? Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really